Hey guys, we're back. Tess and Kourtney, your favorite real estate coaches.
We're here today to talk to you about the importance of building a relationship before showing buyers.
Awesome. This is exciting.
So, I'm excited to be here with Kourtney because she's fantastic on the phones. And how do you go about building your relationship in order to have more of a connection with your buyers before you get into the home?
Excellent, Tess. Let me start by saying building a relationship with buyers is the key to having a successful showing. You want to create a comfortable environment where the buyers feel at ease and confident in your abilities to help them find their dream home.
Okay. So how do you go about building that relationship?
Great question. Well, the first step is to really get to know your buyers. Find out what they're looking for in a house, what their budget is, and their must-haves in a home. You want to create a customized experience for them, and that starts with understanding what their needs are.
Okay. How does that work? So we can't have everything in common with everybody. So how does that work if you don't have very much in common with them?
Great question, Tess. Even though I don't have everything in common, like I don't ski, right? I've lived in Colorado my entire life and I've never been skiing. And a lot of people that I talk to ski or snowboard.
Yeah.
And so it's not about finding the commonality with skiing, but how about finding the commonality with, I love the mountains. I love going up to the mountains during the springtime, and we spend a lot of time up there during the summer. So it's about finding what you do have commonalities with that buyer.
What if they don't really, so sometimes if you don't always have that common interest, they kind of can clam up and it's hard to get them to open a little bit more to you. So what are some of the things that you do if you don't have those commonalities to push a little bit further without it feeling like you're interrogating them for more information?
Well, I add my personality, right? So I sit up straight and when I'm talking to them, I'm smiling. And it's all about just asking questions about who they are, what they like. One of the things is called FORD, their family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And if I'm asking the questions and I'm not doing all the talking, then they feel like I listen, right? But they feel like they're important. So it's not always about me, never about me, right? It's always about them. And that's where I kind of build the relationship.
Okay, awesome. What are some of the other ways that you go about building the relationship?
Well, you really want to be responsive and attentive to like all their needs. Answer their calls and emails promptly. This is phone, right? And this is where all my business is. And it's always on me, and they know that it's always on me. So I'm very attentive when they're calling. And I'm not afraid to share about who I am as a person and what I like to do. I'm not afraid to talk about my family. I'm not afraid to talk about who I am. Maybe, I have a funny story and I share it with them. I just really connect with them.
Okay. Well, thanks for all the great tips. That was very helpful, at least for me.
What's the biggest payoff by building a relationship with the client?
So the payoff is huge when you're building that trust, and so when your buyers trust you, it creates a little less of that awkwardness and that separation, and it allows you to really do what you're there to do, which is one, build a relationship with them, but also make sure that you're able to get their best interests at heart, which means finding out all of their motivation of why they're purchasing, what they ultimately want to do with the home. You find out some of the details that you might not have had if they didn't trust you enough to open up to you.
That's fair, right? And I think the key to that is just to open up, let your guard down. We're the professionals, however, it's important to be the professional and also to be there for them, right? And ask the questions and really get to know them. I think that's the importance. With doing that, you are finding out the motivation and when they're looking to move, if they're renting, if they're living with their in-laws. By asking a lot of questions, you find out what their motivations are. If they're having a baby, if they're getting a divorce, whatever their motivation is, by asking those questions, now you know, and now you know how to cater to them.
Right, yeah, exactly. It happens all too often where I've heard people that they don't quite know what the motivation is for their client, and it's really hard to help best like give them that service and push them towards, you know, what would be the best situation, or allow them to understand what your thought process might be. There's some people that are looking to do investments, so maybe they have the wrong criteria for that they're thinking of for their first home, because they're thinking more on their forever home side versus, hey, this is the home for right now, and what's the rentability so that you can move on to the next in 2 years. Things like that if they're not talking to you about it, you'll never know.
That's awesome. And when we're talking to our agents and they ask questions about like, gosh, I can't believe it, like they haven't wrote an offer yet. And I'm like, well, what is their motivation? Why are they moving? And when, like you said, when the agent says, I don't know what their motivation is, I'm like, well, that's the first start, right? Because we can't help guide them unless we know what their motivation is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So those are all great points. Thank you so much for all the tips.
Yeah, absolutely. And to all our viewers out there, remember that building a relationship with your buyers is the key to success. So get out there, connect with your clients, and have fun along the way.
Right, enjoy
Right?
it. We do this for a living. Gotta like it.
Thanks for watching, guys. Click below and subscribe.
Stay out there hustling.